big things in their lives, and they embarrass me. So now I want to go and be the president so I can embarrass them. Now I'm going to ask you all something. Is that a good goal or not? No. That is a terrible goal. What he was aiming for was great. Why he was aiming for it was awful. And the thing is, that goes on almost every factor. You might want to do something that's so good. You know? You might want to memorize the Quran. You might want to get all A's in your classes. You might want to be the best athlete, or the best musician, or whatever it is, the best artist, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. But the truth is, if your why has no meaning, then I'm sorry to say you have no meaning. The things I'm going to say in this lecture, guys, might hurt you. Alright? I'm going to be real, they might hurt you. But the truth is, this is reality. Because if you don't hear it now, you're going to learn it the hard way. One way or another, you're going to learn it the hard way. You could be working for your whole life for something you're so passionate about. But if you don't know why you're doing it, I'm sorry, you're doing it for no reason. I want you to think about probably the most talked about topic, even to the kids who are like in elementary school right now. College. Do not ever interrupt me. Not in this topic. Do not ever interrupt me. And do not ever interrupt anybody. That's not funny, nobody laugh. If the person next to you is talking, turn around and tell them to stop talking. Be quiet. I actually want to learn. Now I know when I talk, only a few people are going to gain anything out of what I'm talking about. Only a few people are going to walk out of this room and say, I actually learned something. And are going to become great. And I'm talking to those few people. For those people who want to doze off or not pay attention, do as you will. Go ahead. You can start dozing off right now. I'm talking to those leaders. I'm talking to people that want to be great. This message is for you and this message is for me. So if the person next to you is talking or making a joke, ignore them. Because you want to become better. I have a question for you. You go through this cycle every week, right? You're here every week. And you have someone come up here and talk every week. But the reality is, here's something that's going to hit you hard. If you're not learning anything, if you're not even trying to learn, why are you here? You just wasted about 30 minutes of your life. You know what you could have done in 30 minutes? I can tell you a million things you could do in 30 minutes. You're wasting your time. I'm being serious. Go home to your parents and tell them I'm wasting my time. If they ask you why, tell them because I don't want to learn. I'm being serious. If you don't want to grow, you're wasting your time. This school is to make you grow. To make you better than the person you were yesterday and the person you were last week. Because it's these things that are really going to help you. It's not the gym. It's not all those politician things. It's not science. None of that stuff. None of that stuff helps you when you're out there. I'm a math major. Okay? So when people think about math, they think about, oh wow, this guy, like it's insane how someone could do that. I can tell you, I'm in my last year. Nothing of what I learned is any benefit out there compared to what you learn in here. It's the things I learned when I was in elementary school, when I was in middle school, I was in high school, coming to the masjid. It's those things that saved me out there. When things get tough, math didn't help me. Math didn't help me at all. Math didn't put ease in my heart. The Quran put ease in my heart. And there'd be days where I wish I could just, I'd be listening to a surah, I wish I could recite it, but I don't know. And I said, if only I memorized it when I was younger. If only, because you are at the prime right now. Going back to what I was saying before I was interrupted. The main thing that your parents try and strive you for your entire life is college. All right? That's a topic you're going to hear about for the rest of your life, even when you're in college. For some reason, we see it as the most important thing of all time. And I agree. College is insanely important. I believe that everyone should get an education. I don't believe it's for everybody, but I believe everybody, as a future educator, as a future teacher, I think that everybody should go to college. But you know what the sad part is? People go to college and they do these things that they don't even want to do. They don't even know why they're doing it. They do it because someone else told them to. Because their dad or their mom told them to. People graduate, you're taking 4 years, 4.5 years in college, studying engineering, that high status job. You know what happens? They graduate and they hate it. Well, I know a friend of mine, 27 years old, graduated with an engineering degree. Absolutely hates it. Please, no questions at the end. I promise I'll get to your question, all right? You're the man, buddy. See that? That means you're thinking when you have questions, you know? 27 years old, hates his job, wakes up every morning, hating it. And then he decided, you know what, I can't have this anymore. We went back to school. You guys aren't in college. But how many things are you doing right now that don't matter? A lot. There's a lot of things you do day in and day out that are doing absolutely no benefit to you whatsoever. I encourage everyone at this age to go out and have fun. Go out and have the time of your lives. Don't let anything stop you. Do whatever it is your heart desires as long as it's halal. Go have as much fun as you want. But I'm sorry to say that in these days, while you're having fun, if you're not thinking to yourself for a split moment, at least once a day thinking, what is it that I really want? Or who is it that I am? You know why? Because people don't start thinking about that until when? College. Some people even later, till 25 and 26. But guess what? It takes you years to figure that out. It takes people so long to figure it out. And that's why most of our world is average. You guys know what that word average means? No. The word average means you're basic. You're normal. You're just like everybody else. Who wants to be like everybody else? You shouldn't want to be. You know why? Because you're better than everybody else. You're a Muslim. Take arrogance in that you're a Muslim. Be happy about that. You were born special. And if you want to live like everybody else, you're worse than the college students who study something they don't want. Living a basic life every day, why would you want that? And you know why everybody does that? You look around, all the people around you are living such basic and average lives. Because they never started thinking. They never thought this was important. They said, I'm too young. I don't have to think about this right now. It's not important to me right now. That's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. If you look at any of the role models of today, look at when they started. All of them started at a young age. They either started at a young age, or one day to take them that I have to change. And they had to work 10 times harder to get where they want to be. You are at the perfect position right now. The perfect position to grow and become better than everybody else. You're ahead of everybody. Raise your hand if you saw the fight between McGregor and Khabib. All right, hands down. Khabib. Thing is, a lot of people after they saw that fight, they tell themselves, I want to get in the ring now. Now's my chance. Now I want to be a fighter. But the thing is, you don't know what that man went through to get to where he is. You don't know what he went through. His father escaped the battle. People of Russia were being attacked. So his father left Russia. And he opened a gym for people to escape. For young children to get their minds off of it. And Khabib's been doing that ever since he was a boy. He's been doing that ever since he found his purpose when he was a boy. And a lot of us, thing is, we're too fragile. You know what fragile means? Yes. We're too soft in the way we think. We think that, oh no, this isn't for me. It's so hard. I can't do it. All this other stuff. The thing is, yes, it's going to be hard. There's a lot of things that are going to happen to you that are going to be very tough. And they're going to be very challenging. But the truth is, if you've learned anything from the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it's that his entire life was difficult. His entire life was hard. But wallahi, I swear to you, he was the happiest man who ever lived. There was no one who was happier than him. Every single one of you right now, I'm talking to the adults too, and I'm talking to myself. Every single one of us, the only thing we look for day in and day out is happiness. That's the only thing you look for. You look for that sense of peace in your heart. You might not realize it, but really think to yourself, why am I doing this? Because I want this, because I want this, because I want this, because I want to be happy. That's always what it comes down to. You want to be happy. Now I have a question for you. Rhetorical question. Rhetorical means you do not respond. Everything I say, I want you to think for yourself. Because at the end of the day, the person next to you, the person to your right and the person to your left, aren't going to be with you for the rest of your lives. They're not going to be with you on the day of judgment when you're being tested, when you're being asked. They're not going to be with you when you're out there by yourself in the world. When you have to make a hard decision, they're not going to be there for you. So don't look at them. Don't talk to them. Don't ask them. Ask yourself, what is it that makes me happy? Really define that. What is it that was happiness? Because the thing is, if you look at all the celebrities now, they can't even figure it out. The celebrities you think are the happiest people in the world are so depressed. They have to take drugs. You know what? By the way, guys, drugs don't make them happy. When they take these drugs, it's not to make them happy. You know what to do? It's to numb them. You know what numbing means? No. Numbing means to not feel anything for a short period of time. When you go to the doctor, all right, and you have a cut, and they have to close that cut, you know what they do? Yeah. They put numb on it. Does that numb heal you? No. That numb doesn't heal you. It just makes you feel as if it's not there for a little bit. But once it goes away, what happens? It's there again. So for anyone, and by the way, I'm talking younger kids too, because we live in a world where you're going to be exposed to it very early. I used to mentor kids in Newark, and I'd see third graders. I kid you not, third graders who would tell me about their siblings in 5th, 6th grade who are used to sell weed. Their older brothers give them the drugs, and they go sell it. This stuff is real. It's scary, but it's real. But you're stronger than that. You have nothing to fear. So you have to be aware of this stuff. That this stuff that people will offer you, this stuff people will try and put and make you see, and the things you see on TV, these parties, all this stuff that people make seem so amazing. It's not to make them happy. It's not at all to make them happy. It's to make them numb. But But you can keep making yourself numb over and over and over again. It doesn't solve anything. I'm asking you again, what is it that makes you happy? And why is it that it makes you happy? Now think about this next question. How much time do I have 10 minutes. I'm almost done, guys. I want you to think about this next question. Okay? Where does happiness come from? By the way, guys, all this is rhetorical. Remember, I said think about it to yourself. You don't have to share your answer. No one needs to know your answer. Think about it to yourself. All right? Where does happiness come from? People have been studying this for years, trying to figure out where does this happiness come from. Why is it one day I wake up, I feel so happy, and the next day it's gone? And the thing is, they can be doing the same thing over and over and over again. Some people think it's others that make them happy. That if they make friends with this person, or if they hang out with this guy, or if they do these things, or if they get themselves a boyfriend or girlfriend, that they're going to make them happy. But for some reason, one day they're happy and the next day they're miserable. And they can't figure out why. And the truth is, because happiness is not a materialistic item. It's not a hobby. Okay? It's not a result. It's not something where, oh, if I go out and I do this thing, or if I become this person, then I'll be happy. That's not how happiness works at all. Because you can find the poorest of people, one of the happiest people in the world. The people have absolutely nothing in their pockets. The happiest people in the world. They're not out there trying to become presidents to make other people upset. Your happiness comes from one, and only one. Your happiness comes from Allah. Back to what I was saying about your purpose. You can do anything you want in this life, but if you have no purpose for it, you're wasting your time. But if your purpose is to please Allah or anything towards Allah, well, then you can pick up a piece of garbage on the floor, your whole day will feel great. You'll feel so happy your whole day. Because you knew your purpose. You knew that Allah puts the happiness inside you. You want to become an engineer, go ahead. But why are you becoming an engineer? You want to be a doctor, go ahead. But why are you becoming a doctor? If you tell yourself, I want to become a doctor, truly, really mean this to yourself. Because I want to help others, then you will be happy. Because then it won't matter about the result. Because you know in your heart that you do this for Allah and Allah will never let you down. What you learn in this school, guys, a lot of you think, and people actually come and tell me this, when am I ever going to use Quran in my life? It's the same question I get when I'm tutoring people math. And they tell me, when am I ever going to use this again in my life? I'm never going to use a nonlinear equation. When am I ever going to see this? You know? And some of you guys ask, when am I ever going to use the Quran? It's never happened to me yet. It hasn't benefited me in any way. All it's done is make my parents proud. Why do I need to memorize the Quran? Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. There's going to be moments in your life where every single solution you thought of doesn't work. It's a fact. Every person you talk to, every YouTube video you've looked up, everything you've ever done to try and solve the problem you're in right now won't solve it. And you find yourself doing nothing. Nothing but praying to Allah. That becomes your last resort. That you tell yourself, you know what? Ya Allah, I have no options. I want to pray to you. And then when you're praying, one ayah of what you read, something you memorized when you were 6 or 7 years old, one ayah just hits you so hard. And you start crying. There have been ayahs that I learned when I was such a young kid. Such a young kid that when I look at now, when I was thinking to myself, what does this mean? You know, when I was praying Salah, I felt it, but I don't know what it means. And when I looked it up, I started bawling my eyes out. Some of you guys are so into books and all this stuff. When you read this, like a lot, I don't know if you guys ever see this on Instagram, all this other stuff. All people just keep putting these quotes from these people that are nobodies. They just keep putting up quotes, and people are like, "Oh my God, that was so inspirational. That helped me out so much." But the thing is, why are you taking a quote from someone who was created by Allah? But when a quote comes of the Quran, oh, we're quick to skip that on Instagram. We're quick to skip that one. Or Snapchat, we'll click so fast. We won't even read it. It's like, oh, Ahmed, I don't understand what it's saying. You didn't try. For some reason, those Instagram quotes, though, they hit you so hard. They put a fancy background in, mashallah, all your problems are solved from that one little sentence. I'm going to wrap up with this. Okay? Many of you, I know a lot of you guys dozed off. I know a lot of you guys weren't paying attention. I hope everybody was. Inshallah, everyone benefits as much as me. I hope that I actually benefit from them as well. Alright? But I'm talking to those who want to change their lives. For those, when they look ahead, they don't see themselves as being average people. Because we live in a time where Muslims can't afford to be average. We live in a time where things are too hard to be average. You want to be average? You can live an easy life now. But just know your life is going to be hard later. You want an easy life later? Work hard now. It's not hard. This is all you have to do. Don't change anything, don't change anything about your life. I'm being serious. You're all still young. Go have fun. Go live it up. Do whatever it is your heart desires. Play your Fortnite. Play whatever it is you want. Do whatever it is you like. All I ask is you do one thing differently every day. Sit there with yourself for 5 minutes. By yourself. Sit there for 5 minutes and think about the big question. Big question. Who am I? And what do I want? And when you realize what it is you want, think about why it is you want it. Because just know everything in this world dies out. Everything eventually fades, everything dies out. I don't care how excited you are for it. I don't care how excited you are to graduate high school, or middle school, or college, or to win this thing. I don't care how excited you are. Wallahi, I promise you it's going to die out. That happiness is going to fade very quickly. My whole life, I wanted to win a championship, a basketball championship. I won it when I was a senior in high school. I kid you not, 2 weeks later, I forgot I even won it. It means nothing. I don't even know what the trophy is. You know? Something I've been working years for, I finally got it, means nothing to me. And that's everything you're going through. Please, guys, keep in mind that this stuff is important. You're never too young to get ahead. I ask Allah to make it easy on us. Say Ameen.
Ameen.
I ask Allah to help us in all our struggles. I ask Allah to make everyone in this room an amazing leader. A leader of the future. And a role model to all of those coming up.